I'm Jeff Probst, and this is the final episode of Survivor One World. In this episode, we'll be putting Karl Marx against Winston Churchill to decide who will be the final winner. The jury will be able to speak their mind and ask questions to one or both of the contestants remaining. In the end, their votes will be tallied and decide the winner. The jury will be able to come here and cast their final vote for either Churchill or Marx. The candidate at the end with the majority votes will be crowned the winner of Survival One World. Alright, Julius Caesar, you're first.
In the game, I wanted to play courageously and end all the corruption that some of the players brought into the game. Tell me how each of you were bold in your life, like your boy C.
I boldly denied the Nazis of Europe. I'm the reason Europe is the way it is today. I was the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. That's just a small island. The Nazis ranged from France to Russia, and I took them on with just a small force.
Well, I wrote some books about some things that I believed in. Well, I didn't take any bold actions to make the ideas happen, but some of my followers did. Just look at Cuba and North Korea.
Next up, can we have Napoleon?
This is a clear choice for me. I will be voting for Sir Winston Churchill. He is by far more influential than Karl Marx. Churchill is the reason for the fall of the Third Reich. He is a brilliant strategist. He brought the USA out of isolationism and created a superpower which he put on his side of the war. I don't even know why people are considering Marx to even be comparable to Churchill. Marx came up with the system that those who work hard have their earnings taken away from them, and those who barely do any work get more than they deserve. This sounds like something a homeless bum would come up with. And after seeing that beard, that might not be that far from the truth. My vote will definitely be for Winston Churchill.
Cleopatra, you're next up to the stand.
I strongly believe that one of the most important parts of being an important influential leader is aligning yourself with others. How did each of you team up with others to get where you are now?
I can remember it like it was just yesterday. It was a warm August day in 1844. I was living in Paris in the time, and I decided I would want to go to the cafe. This cafe was where men would go and play chess all day. But instead of playing chess, I found a new friend, Friedrich Engels. Me and him became BFFLs, and he even paid me to write one of his books. What a cool guy.
Well, I famously met up with the President of the United States, FDR, the leader of the Soviet Union, Joseph Stalin. That was at the Tehran, Yalta, and Potsdam conference, and we discussed what was going to go on in World War II. It wasn't an alliance of best friends, it was an alliance of the men who would get the job done.
The one and only Hitler, please. Now, I may be evil, but I have to give credit where credit is due. Churchill beat me bad. The Battle of Britain and the Dunkirk evacuation are just a couple of times Mr. Churchill stopped my Nazis. So my question is for Karl. How have you fought your enemies, or those opposed what you believe in?
About what I believed in. So I guess you could say I fought my foes with words. Well, at one point in 1849, some of my colleagues wanted to start a protest and spread the ideas we wrote about. They wanted to ignite the revolution. I fought as hard as I could to stop them from taking any action, and instead, we just wrote.
Joan of Arc, can you please speak your mind?
After my God, the thing I love the most is my country, France. I was born a peasant in northeast France, but after receiving visions of saints, I rose to fight for my country. With my help, France's king was crowned, and the French grew closer to their independence from England. For this reason, I would not allow myself to vote for an Englishman such as Churchill. However, Churchill freed my nation after the Germans took over. Because Churchill fought to save the innocent, he ultimately receives my vote.
Galileo, would you step forward?
Go.
I am a man of science. I've always worked hard to advance society through my theories and thoughts. I must say I'm a bit disappointed in the both of you. Churchill, did you have any underlying theory on how you would accomplish what you wanted? Karl Marx, the ideas of communism are undoable. It's against everything in human nature. Why did you never try out this system?
My theory was very simple. Keep calm and carry on. We need to survive through the heavy attacks, and the only way to do this is remain calm and not to let the fear control us. Then we had to carry on and continue to fight back. This was the mentality that allowed my people to turn the tide of the war and accomplish so much.
Well, I never had the chance to test out my ideas. I worked on forming the ideas, and then not really putting them into action. I mean, I died before my country could even work on it. And how could I have known it had been so wrong? That it just needs some tweaking.
Last but not least, Charlemagne. Please come up.
I am known as the father of Europe. I united Western Europe for the first time since the Romans. I want to know how each one of you brought your people together.
When I came into power, the Nazis were ripping Europe apart. Hitler was attempting to exterminate an entire race of people, and at the same time he was breaking promises, waging wars, and just simply ripping the continent apart. Now, if it weren't for me, the tide of war wouldn't have changed. Europe would have been desolated and ripped apart. But I brought Europe to peace once more. Because of this, Europe is the way it is today.
Well, if people had listened to my ideas, they would all have been equal. If everyone was equal, then there wouldn't nearly be as much tension. I just need some people to do the work. I gave you an idea, but no one implemented it.
Now that everybody has had their chance to speak their mind, come up and say what they needed to say, ask the questions they were wondering, Churchill and Marx will now be able to plead their final case.
You should vote for me, because I fought for the freedom of Europe, and I took actions. And I wrote books too. You might want to know about prizes. Now, communism has little impact today anyway. Well, it's not the young adult dystopian genre.
Well, that's not true. North Korea, I heard it's pretty nice this time of year. Without me, Europe wouldn't have went through that awkward teenage stage where they tried experimenting with communism but grew out of it. And everybody remembers their teenage years, right?
Now that everything's been said and done, it's time to cast your vote. Caesar, you're up first.
Marx, stop writing the books and do something bold, like Churchill. Caesar out.
Oui, I've already stated my case. My vote is for Churchill, a great strategist.
I'm voting for Churchill. He beats me fair and square. He is a man of power. I respect that.
Churchill freed France and many other innocent countries. He has my vote.
Well, Karl Marx only worked with people with the same ideas, and Winston Churchill worked with others like USA and Russia to accomplish goals, and Churchill was pretty much superior to all others, so I'm voting for him. Cleopatra.
I'm voting for Winston Churchill. Karl Marx's theories on communism are just undoable.
I'm voting for Churchill because he helped bring peace to Europe.
Now it's time to tally the votes. Winston Churchill. Churchill. Churchill again. Sir Winston Churchill. Winston Churchill. Winston Churchill. And in a final count of 7-0, Sir Winston Churchill will be crowned the winner of Survivor One World.
The winner takes all. It's the thrill of one more kill, the last one to fall. Who never sacrifice their will. Don't ever look back on the world closing.